Welcome to Calculator Active. Today we're going to look at creating box and whisker plots using the TI-84 Plus. We will begin by cutting the calculator on and resetting the calculator. Second plus 7, 1, 2, and then enter. So in order to create a box and whisker plot, we need a data set, and we need to enter that data set into the list. And in a previous video, I showed you how to enter data into a list. So we're going to go through that quickly. I'm going to enter data into the list by pressing the Stat key. Edit is already highlighted, so I press enter. And as you can see here, I have two different lists. And I'm going to enter the math test scores into list 1, and I'm actually going to enter the English test scores into list 2. 80, enter, 75, enter, 95, enter, 90, enter, 80, enter, 65, enter, 100. Okay, so I have the 7 math test scores. Now I'm going to enter the English test score, so I'm going to arrow to the right, and now my cursor is on list 2, entry 1. So I'm entering in 70, enter 80, enter 85, enter 75, enter 75, enter 95, enter and 60. Okay, great. So now I want to create a box and whisker plot. And I know from that plot I can derive the information that you see now on the screen. I can obtain the minimum and maximum values, the first quartile, the third quartile, and also the median. And with the minimum and maximum, I can find the range. With the first and third quartiles, I can find the interquartile range. So I'm going to return to the home screen by pressing second mode for quit. And so in order to create a box and whisker plot, this is a statistical plot, so I'm going to need to push second y equals, and you can see the word stat plot written in blue above that key. So I'm going to look at plot 1, and I want to turn that on and choose my plot by pressing enter. So right now you can see plot 1 is highlighted and off is highlighted, so I want on to be highlighted, so I'm going to press enter while my cursor is blinking over on, and now it's highlighted, and I'm going to arrow down to the type. So right now I am looking at a scatter plot. If I arrow to the right, this is a line plot. Next I have a histogram, and then you see a modified box plot, and then a box and whisker plot here. Okay, so I'm going to use the box and whisker plot that you see here. You have to access this by arrowing to the right. Right? Once I press enter, now it says X list. So it's asking, where am I getting the data that is going to make up this box and whisker plot? And I'm going to do the box and whisker plot right now for the math test score. So that'll be list 1 only. And I want the frequency of the graph to be 1. All right, so let's see what happens when I press graph. Right now, when I press graph, all I'm given is a standard window, and because, think about my math test scores, they were between like a 65 and a 100, so none of those fit within this window. Whenever you create a box and whisker plot, you want to press the zoom key, and then you want to zoom stat, which is number 9. So again, whenever you want to create one of those graphs that we saw when we cut the stat plot on, you want to make sure you zoom number 9, zoom stat. Okay, so as you can see here, my box and whisker plot for the math test scores is listed. If I want to know what these values are, if I want to know what the minimum is, what the maximum is, what the first and third quartiles are, and what the median is, I can push the trace button. There I can see a cursor blinking, and at the bottom of that screen it tells me what the cursor is blinking on. So right now the cursor is blinking at the median, which is 80. If I arrow to the right, I can see that the third quartile is 95. Arrow to the right again, the max is 100. Arrow to the left past the median this time. The first quartile is 75, and the minimum, is 65. Right? So now let's go back to the stat plot, second y equals, and remember we had some data in the second list. So let's turn plot 2 on by highlighting on. And again, we're working with plot 2 because plot 2 is highlighted. I'm going to arrow down to the types, and I'm arrowing to the right until I get to the box and whisker plot. Press enter. And so this time I don't want my data to come from list 1. I want it to come from list 2. And because the alpha lock key is on, I see an A blinking here, I can just press the number 2 and it gives me the Z. But I want list 2, so I'm going to push second 2 to get the name list 2. Great. Frequency is still 1. Alright, so remember we're plotting data, so we're going to do zoom after we quit and go back. We're going to do to the home screen, going to do zoom 9. And now this time you can see a box and whisker plot for 2 sets of data. If we push trace, right now it's telling me that this is plot 1, and this was for the list L1. If you arrow down, now the cursor is blinking on plot 2, which was list 2. And the same thing, you can find those values by arrowing to the left and to the right. Okay. So I hope this was a helpful tutorial on how to create box and whisker plots using the TI-84 Plus. Thank you so much.